Okay, this is just a fast video log. Today's date is September 24th, 2014. This is a tweet that I just sent through Twitter about 7 minutes ago. And it says, just woke up. Let's see if anyone approaches me today and causes me to have to move, arrest me, tickets me, assaults me, or robs me. TTTTT 92414. I'm going to click on it to also be able to prove that it was sent at 6:45 a.m. on September 24th, 2014. It's now 6:53 a.m. I had to take a minute to reply to a tweet. Now, we're going to go to the calendar icon in order for you to be able to literally see that this today, concerning what today's date is. 24th, okay, 6:53. So, this is in reference to the hiking area where I was brutally assaulted at on July 9th, 2014. In fact, this video applies for the next 2 weeks, every single day, night, minute, and hour that I'm here. It also includes, let's see if anything happens to any of my property on any date that I'm gone from this area going about my business. Mostly, which will be moving property to other areas, okay? That includes theft of my property, damage to my property, trespass notices. Now, in closing, once I move, I already know that crimes are going to happen to me, and they're going to be creatively brought about, and including individuals acting like they're in the area because of normal appearing reasons, even scheduled events, scheduled things that they said that they've had on their roster for quite a while, like cutting down trees, or railroad employee, utility company personnel, park rangers, park volunteer service workers, even Boy Scout and Girl Scouts. Basically what I'm saying is that when I'm a gang stalking target, targets of gang stalking are made homeless. The perpetrators will create the homelessness and then literally cause the target to continue to have to move from place to place to place to place. Part of the reason why this is done is in order to break the target mentally, financially, emotionally, physiologically, spiritually. It's done to put them in a victimized mindset and to keep them in it. Hang on a second. And another reason why they, basically what they'll do is stage events towards the target using anybody, homeless people. These little wild-ass animals will even use children, literally, okay? And the syndicated cops attached to these expeditions either try and imply, either state that the target's mentally ill because of them complaining about what's factually happening to them, and they're also used to make falsified police reports and incident reports whenever something happens to a target, whenever they are called concerning the target, no matter who calls them, including the target. You know what they're doing with me? They're literally coming down to my hiking areas because falsified incident reports, police reports, arrests after staged events assist them in achieving the original motivation concerning why the target is being picked, why they're being flagged and tagged to be a target, why the expedition is happening to them. One target can be picked for multiple different criminal motivations, and racketeering and insurance fraud are two of the main ones. Basically, they create the homelessness. One of the end results is they hope to gain syndicated probate control of the target in order to treat the target as a straw person, by placing them in a organized crime, syndicated run group home that is literally owned and operated by the individuals that are directly connected to the gang stalking expedition. And this is done, they take the syndicated probate control by claiming the target's crazy, delusional, paranoid schizophrenic with paranoid ideations, dementia, anything that they can label the target as, they will do. Now, the way they're able to label the target falsely on police reports, incident reports, and even doctor reports, and social services even, is to, and they do have also connected parties within Social Security, because Social Security and Medicare and medical records play also a role in this as well. Now, what you got to understand here is that in order for them to get the syndicated probate control, they have to try and prove a long history of mental illness, a long history of homelessness, and massive amounts of incident reports and police reports, doctor reports in between this long history. Now, they gain these incident reports and police reports and doctor reports as a result of the periodic, frequent or infrequent incidences that produce the falsified reports. This is done through staged events. Staged events are called street theaters and gang stalking. Okay? And basically what they do is will literally even psychologically intentionally motivate the target to pick up the phone and call the police, because they'll bring people down at the area where the target's hiking and have them rape, rob, and or assault the target. Now the target, as a result of being a victim of this extreme crime, while being subject to organized stalking, gang stalking, harassment on a daily basis, by the time they get assaulted, the accumulated stress and the anger from the assault or whatever, the robbery, rape, or whatever, will be like the last straw that broke the camel's back. This is what they count on, to psychologically cause the target to collapse and to motivate the target to pick up the phone and call the police themselves at a hiking area. That's why they're starting to come down now to my hiking areas and assault me. This is the 4th hiking area I've been stalked to. Okay, and the whole goal for them is to stalk you from place to place to place to place. Before, during, and after they create the homelessness, they'll gang stalk you to multiple apartment buildings and motel rooms. Literally, just Google it. Okay, you can also Google how these expeditions intentionally create the homelessness of the targeted individual, and it's done for these criminal motivations using schemes, and the schemes are brought about through maneuvers, tactics, methods, cooperating relationships, and all of that is achieved against the target as a result of the tracking and surveillance of the target. You got to know where the target's at in order to bring about this staged event. Now at hiking areas, when they stage something at a hiking area like an assault, an attempted robbery, an attempted rape, or a rape, what they'll do is use, most of the time they'll use just a neighborhood lowlife, a person who's addicted to drugs, an alcoholic, somebody who's got criminal ideations, somebody who's got a long psychiatric history themselves. That way they can excuse the crime, okay, to be anything else except for gang stalking related. Okay, because they dress everything up they do in order to cover their end. Now, if you don't think that these freaked out syndicated members and individuals they handpick and select to use for any type of staged event, think again, because this is a prearranged, force-structured event, which means they want to be able to apply evidence that this individual who's doing this to any target has that the person used, okay, is somebody who can easily be discredited in themselves. That way they can say, well, Leslie, you were assaulted at this place because you shouldn't have been there to begin with. We believe you're there because you got psychiatric problems, because what kind of a woman would live in a park, or what kind of a woman would live in a canyon? Why don't you have an apartment or room to rent, whatever? Because organized stalking, gang stalking expeditions intentionally, by using cooperating relationships with landlords, property owners, and staged events at apartment complexes, at motels, to create the homelessness to begin with. They create the homelessness to exploit it. See, if they create the homelessness and then bring about events towards the target at the hiking area, then they believe that either, like, if they can stage an event, blame the target for it, and as the event's unfolding, the persons that played a role in the event towards the target will either call the police, or they'll stage a witness who will just act like that they're just somebody that's in the park at the same time or close by, overheard the event, they called the police. Because the police got to make sure they got a normal appearing reason to know where the target's at, in order to come down and say, well, you can't stay here, you got to leave. Why did this happen? They beg you to talk about the gang stalking, then they act like they don't know what it is, okay? And then they'll make a falsified either incident report or police report about the target's mental stability, They'll try and claim that the target appears to not be able to take care of themselves on their own because of this mental illness that they put in the incident report. Now, the incident reports, police reports, and they will even petition a target in a county mental health or an area neighborhood hospital psychiatric floor. Okay? And this is done for insurance fraud, while dressing it up to make it look like the insurance being bilked was done for as a result of a mental diagnosis. And they also use these falsified mental diagnoses for the eventual syndicated probate control. Now, once syndicated probate control is taken, these wild animals will co-opt the target's existing income, okay, which means Social Security, Disability, SSI, and or they will apply for any funds in the target's name at the federal, state, and local level. So then the perpetrators are now getting a monthly income in that target's name. They receive the checks and cash them. They then continue the gang stalking in the organized crime syndicated run group home. The target is provoked to act out, so they can then blame the target for acting out as a result of them having the mental illness that they have falsified. They will then state the target's got to go back into the hospital to get on medication in order to get this mental illness in control. And this is done so the doctors, the administrative staff, and the billing controller can continue to bilk the insurance and to keep the falsified mental diagnosis on current medical and mental history reports, so the syndicated probate control can remain. Now, targets, once they're placed in this home, can also be subject to human trafficking, voyeurism, pornography. They can have their food and drinks drugged, and once the target is knocked out, they are raped. Okay? And as the rape is occurring, they will literally videotape it and sell it to pornography groups. Money off of every angle. Now, this last one you're going to have to really Google, because you might hear this and you might think to yourself, this woman's crazy. Really, just Google it. Victims of this crime can also be victims of non-consensual human experimentation using sophisticated technology. It's all over the internet. Just Google it. Just go to Google right now and type in gang stalking, targets, non-consensual human experimentation. Literally, just Google it. And you'll see I'm telling you the truth. You can also Google that to organized stalking. So, because they make money off the research. The research is sold to multiple different research groups. So they can make thousands and thousands of dollars just off of one research study. Literally. And this is where also the doctors come into play at. Alright, so I'm basically exposing what's happening to me. Okay, now postal workers can also be involved in any type of maneuver if a target's waiting for an appointment for a court date as a result of a person coming down in here that's got the authority to do so and say, you can't camp here, we're giving you a ticket. Ticket's got a court date on it. Target never gets the court date in the mail because mail theft and mail delayment is a method of these crimes. So they basically they will then state they'll wait till that appointment date is gone by, stage an event, have a cop approach the target, cop asks the target's name, they look the target up on the computer, they see the target's got a warrant out for their arrest because they missed the court date, and then that's used to arrest the target. Now, when the arrest occurs, they can steal everything the target's got, their money, their ID, their food stamp card, their bus card, Social Security card, everything, and then once the target's released, they're released back to the gang stalking with no money, no way to get around. They're targeting my bike right now like you would not believe. And what I meant by get around is stealing my bus card. If they steal all my money and all my evidence, I got massive. I got at least 100 micro cards and video cards that got undisputable evidence, over 16 tape recorders. Okay, so these are the schemes of gang stalking. Literally. And these expeditions are achieved through employment descriptions being used for it, and how these employment descriptions are used with staged events in order to bring about the maneuvers, in order to bring about the schemes, in order to achieve the criminal motivation. This is how it operates. This video applies for the next 6 months, no matter what hiking area I'm at, no matter where I'm at. Period. Thank you.